Well, last week, if you remember, we were looking at Ollivander's Magic Wand Shop
Right.
that you built.
Yes.
And this week, you've also built, well, it's sort of Dumbledore's Hogwarts chambers.
Exactly. We've kind of turned it into that. The idea is it is to do with Hogwarts. It just doesn't say that it is.
So it's based on this kit that you can get on Amazon. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name.
No, and about the time, too, you find out how to pronounce that name, it comes under other vendors. So.
Yeah, but you can find it on Amazon if you go looking for it.
Yes.
So it's a bit bigger than some of these things. It's 22 by 22 centimeters.
Right.
And but it sure looks nice all put together.
It does. Now, I was fooled by the clock. It doesn't work. But one of these days, I am going to make it work.
And it has brilliant lighting.
Yes, just be sure to wear your sunglasses.
And I can see that, as usual, you've added some of your own bits and pieces, like a wizard.
Yes, I got that out of your Dungeons and Dragons castings. Now, just like the previous model, there are all these little pieces that have to be assembled and put together. And these are like little jewelry beads. That's how small they are. And, of course, the windows and everything else, because the wiring is kind of interwoven in the construction so that it comes out even, I guess you'd say.
And it looks like it sort of builds up from one side across to the other side.
Yes.
I love the hourglass.
That was actually pretty easy. There's just two clear beads, and they're glued together, and then a snap part on either end and some of this bead material in between. Now here we have a wizarding table complete with maps and a wand and some kind of brew in the middle. They gave me green cotton to kind of pull out to look like it's steaming. So this is up on the second level with the rolling ladder. Each little cube, if you will, had to be assembled and then sort of stacked one on top of the other.
I like the map, and there's something there on the floor.
It's, I guess, like a zodiac sign from night to dark where all the spells are cast. I'm sure someone out there knows the name of it.
And just like Garage Mahal, it has a rolling ladder.
Well, it does, but I added the rollers on top. Again, I have all these jewelry bead caps from jewelry making, and I implement them when I can. And again, you can see the jewelry bead caps that I used at the top of the ladder. It didn't come with those, but I thought it would be a nice addition.
Here, a gold scale.
Yes.
I love gold scales.
Isn't that fun? And again, it's just jewelry caps and rivets. Now here is the real magic, is when you connect all of these little lights that come with these kits and put the battery in and turn it on, and it all works.
And whoever designed the lighting on this model really knew their way around lighting.
Oh, no kidding, but you had to be careful how you counted the little lights off because there had to be a tail end part for the magic sign outside.
Because I think the lighting really is magic.
It is. Now you can really get a sense of the scale. I like to point at things with the average finger, but you can see how small this is.
And that magic sign.
Yes.
Is that just paper with a light behind it?
It is. There were two little identical pieces of wood that had to be glued together, and then a little paper over the top of that's had the sign magic, and the light shines through all that.
And not to sound redundant, but look how the light placement lights up the items on the table and the walls and everything. Again, whoever figured out the position of the lights really knew their way around lighting.
No kidding. And these kits are actually helpful to build because I have gotten so many ideas where we're building buildings for the railroad and such. Oh, and up here was the top floor, the Mandrake Garden, where the students learned to plant the screaming mandrake.
I wonder if Cleopatra Adams is up here.
Oh, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised.
You'd have to know the Addams family for that to make any sense.
Yes. So everything in here had to be assembled, and of course they give you this like brown crepe paper that has to be twisted, and that's what creates the vine, and then the little leaves have to be glued on. So the kit comes with just about everything you need, including little wooden planters and pots for the plants, and some teeny weeny little plants that all have to be placed at strategic areas, and another cauldron. This time it's a little wooden vessel of some kind, and it has a spoon in there. And here we even have a little cat that's come to visit in the middle of it. And I like these mushrooms. They were fun to make. They were just made out of those little pipe cleaner type things they use for cenders in flowers, and you carve those and turn those into mushrooms. Well, there sits the one side of the building, and as you can see, it's kind of top heavy on one end, but that's because that's going to connect to another part that has to be assembled.
I'm sounding like a stuck record, but I love the underlighting here.
I know that it looks so magical once it's put together. Now here we had a clock, and it has a lot of stained glass. Just to look at it, it looks like it should run, and I'm going to buy a little small clock kit to go behind it so it will run someday.
That would add a wonderful functionality to it.
Oh yes. So now comes the stairway, which kind of twists and winds and goes everywhere.
It's very Hogwartsian.
Yes, and with my slip of hand a couple of times, it was going everywhere at once. So next comes the floor that has to be put in, and of course it's like in 3 different pieces, and some of it had like a wallpaper that gives you the brick pattern. That all had to be glued together, but you know, again, I wasn't clearly happy with all of the end results, so I added my own base to it.
It looks like there's going to be a fun little room over there to the right.
That will be the sorting room, where each little boy or girl will come to see which house they belong to wearing the sorting hat.
And that orb.
Isn't that interesting?
That's fascinating. I assume it's magical.
It's magical. Wait just a few minutes and you'll see. There it is.
Holy cow!
It lights up.
Boy, does it light up.
Yes.
Again, that's brilliant.
Exactly. It has one little light that goes up through the center. All the little circular pieces and the bottom, the globe, are hollow, so a little wire had to be threaded up there with a tiny little light at the end inside of the green bead.
It looks like it's a very bright light.
Oh, yes, it was a bright one. I'll tell you what, put your sunglasses on with that guy.
It looks to me like the actual one, if there was an actual one, would have a rotational function.
Something like that. I think it's supposed to work like a sundial. Well, in this little piece up on the top, I decided to add my own addition. It's supposed to be the golden snitch. So here we have in the sorting room the infamous chandelier. And I say infamous because I had to build that out of wire, like a flattened wire, a light bead, and another bead cap. So the final decor was added after I got everything together. You can see the sorting hat, which all had to be made by hand, and Hedwig the owl and his barrel he sits on. And over here in the sorting room, of course, we not only have the sorting hat and numerous books, but some students experiment with mushrooms and newspaper, and don't light a match around that.
They're experimenting with mushrooms?
Yeah, of course. And down here is the mystery collection of different various bottles of potion and orbs and test tubes. And over here we have the ever-present and wise owl, Hedwig, and the books on Gryffindor. And over here we just have a simple hidden library. So over here we have this wizard. He did not come with the kit, but I did sneak through some of your things with your Dungeons and Dragons castings and found an appropriate fellow.
I never played the game, but I sure like casting and selling the figures.
Oh, my brother, he always had the Dungeons and Dragons.
And you put a beautiful paint job on him.
Yes, because I've had a lot of experience painting Dungeons and Dragons with my brother. So I used some of this paint that you've got. It's like an acrylic, and it has metal flake blue. And after all of that dried, I added my own sparkles to it just by daubing on a little bit of glitter and some clear nail polish.
He's a 30 millimeter figure, so I see you've put him on a base.
Right, that base was already there, and I'm not sure why exactly, but I thought it needed something, so the wizard was added. Now here is the plastic case that it comes with. It still has to be assembled, which is really tricky to glue all those corners tight. And you can see it sitting on a rectangular piece of wood to accommodate the base. I just really wasn't happy until it was glued safely onto a bigger base.
It's really important to have things like this inside of a case of some kind because you really can't get in there and dust them.
Oh, there's no way. And the way dust accumulates, especially at our house. But yeah, you want it kept clean.
I think it just turned out fabulous.
Well, thank you. But boy, I'll tell you, these little kits are so much fun, and they're really a good thing to put together. It teaches you how to make things from other things.
I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe. Remember, it doesn't cost anything, doesn't hurt anything. And the easy way to subscribe is to click on the upcoming blue button. Zoink! Right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Tuesday.
All right.
We'll see ya.
We'll see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.